Hello, everyone, and welcome to Leviathan News. It's a Thursday, May 2nd, or however you say it, 2nd, May 2nd. Leviathan News here, back on with a weekly panel. I'm joined here by my lovely co-hosts, Amplice, first of all, and Millie. How are you guys?
What's up? Pretty good. The markets
Nice.
are undead again after being dead for a couple of days, so not feeling as
Always,
awful.
always something, always something. Millie, how are you, man? What's up?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I was about to say we're not that poor anymore, right? We're a little bit better now.
Yeah, we should have changed the headline the last hour.
We're
Still,
pre again. We're back to
still
pre.
poor, but actually, what makes people happy or not happy is not the absolute level, but the trajectory. So,
Yeah.
in that sense, now that we're going back up, I feel fine again.
Yeah, maybe it's only because we made that, we booked the stream and we started going up. Simple. Sometimes it's simple as that. And we're joined today by our fellow ghoul, been on last week as well, Colin from Liquidity. How are you, sir?
Doing all right. Thanks for having me once again.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. What's up? How are things at Liquidity and in general?
Things at Liquidity are going well. Busy. We're trying to get stuff out the door, which means lots more building and all that great stuff.
Always. Looking forward to have you guys on as well, by the way, whenever possible on the channel. And okay, guys, we got a lot of topics to discuss, but I think that obviously, let's start with markets. How are your wallets handling, Deja? How are your bank addresses? You doing all right? Hanging in there?
I waited for Empress to tell me I was an idiot and then bought.
Honestly, if I think about how much I'm down from, it's actually pretty stupid. I mean, it's not. Yeah. So basically, when your bags are down, the trick is you simply don't check. And if you don't check, then you don't know. And if you don't know, then it can't hurt you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my philosophy.
Yeah, I think anyone with like a alt heavy portfolio probably got wrecked like on the recent rally. Like Bitcoin isn't doing that bad. ETH is also like, you know what? If you look at it like in the grand scheme of things, it's not really doing that bad at all. So like it's really just alts that are like alts like DeFi, like Altel ones. Like Solana's down pretty bad from like its highs. So yeah, it's more like if you're at like an alt heavy portfolio like I did, then you probably got you took a hit. But it realistically, it's interesting to see like how high the volatility still is on alts, and I always felt like volatility is like a good thing for these assets. Like if alts ever become non-volatile, that's when it becomes like the alt is almost dead, right? Like nobody wants to see it. So like the alts that are volatile, you're seeing life in them. I think like it's a good thing. Like they're supposed to react violently to certain things, especially like to like large like moves like to Bitcoin or ETH. And so like I think when there is volatility in alts, it's always a good thing because like that is the feature of these like assets. Like that, that's not a bug, that's a feature, and like that's what like it entices people to get in, right? Like they see this volatility and they're like, oh, like maybe there's money in it for me or whatever. Like that's exactly how traders get into it. But like realistically, like people want that kind of volatility, usually to the upside, obviously. But like when they see volatility, they think upside usually, and unless this chart looks dead or unless like volatility's dead, unlike some of these dead because you see like they're just dying. So yeah, I think it's all in all like like I said last time too. I think like I still think it's a bull market. Put it that way.
So what you're saying is all my coins going to zero. It's actually a good thing because it means they're very volatile, which means they can go back up.
If they're not going to zero slowly, then yeah, it might not.
I mean, trust me, they went to zero very, very quickly.
So that's even worse. But yeah, you know what I mean. Like I think like as long as there's a healthy like IV on a alt, like that's expected, and so like that's normal. They can spring right back, right? So like that's how they work. But like the alts that sort of go down and stay down and stop like bouncing around, those are the ones you kind of got to worry about. But
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, your bags are on life support, but they still have a heartbeat. Is what Millie's trying to say.
It's only been 10 years in a coma. They're gonna wake up any day now.
The past 2 months felt like a whole decade, actually. Yeah, in crypto, time's still moving quite
It
quickly.
really did, didn't it? Like, yeah, it feels. Yeah.
Don't worry, they're going to lower rates. They're going to go back to zero, and we're all going to be happy.
When are they gonna lower rates? You guys are American. Tell me.
Is this a macro podcast now? Are we pivoting?
Yeah, they sit in there with Gary. They sit in there with Gary eating lunches. You know that.
In 4 months.
I could live with
Confirmed?
that. September.
Confirmed?
But the
So-
question is, can the government live with that? Because don't they have like the most debt? Like they have to pay the most interest on this. Like, how are they gonna live with that?
It's a meme, Con.
They could just move some numbers around, right? Like when you make the money that you owe money in, then it's not a problem.
I think
Just
it's going to
make
take the
some more
Ponzi
money
a
and
lot
then just
longer
pay
than
off
4
your debt.
months.
No problem.
By the way, like if we're already opening this like macro angle from it, like what's actually in your mind like causing the drop? Like who's pulling their money out and where are they taking it? So it's not there right now.
I mean, I think a lot of risk assets have gone down, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, I think the war obviously set off this like downturn, and then adding to that, like inflation's higher than people expect, and basically like everything's down as far as I understand. So it's not like it's just crypto. Yeah.
So basically, all the American college students that should be spending their like money are busy protesting when they should be sitting there trading Solana meme coins.
I know. What are they doing?
But I still think it's not that bad. Like if you look at Bitcoin, it's kind of it looks bad, right? Like if it continues on a downtrend, that would be bad. But like I don't know. I think realistically it could like bounce stuff from here, right? Like so, and I think if you still think that, then like it's it doesn't look that bad because all sort of like fluctuate a lot. Some of them are really badly down, yes, but like for the most part, I don't know. I think we're still okay. Like ETH even looks okay. Like ETH looks like his bottom to me, but like for me, it's like always looks like his bottom. But it just I don't know. Like it doesn't look there's not like there's not that much doom and gloom ahead, right? Like there's what is there that's so bad, right? Like if you think back like 2022, like it was so bad. Like every day there was something crazy blowing up. At the same time, the macro picture in 2022 was just so bad. It was like the Fed was about to just like yank rates, yeet them to the like supermax, and like just keep it there. And it was just like all this uncertainty. Like it was just there's nothing that bad ahead that could cause something like a structural bear market. So I just feel like this trend continues pretty much, even if it's slowly and it's like not noticeable. I feel like we're still gonna continue trend. There's no reason we shouldn't. And like a lot of alts, obviously, they have different dynamics because they have like these long, like large vesting schedules and like these huge unlocks. So like they trade differently. And so like I think all in all, like all things considered, like I don't see a whole lot of downside. But then again, like you never know, like you don't see downside comes out of nowhere. But it doesn't seem like there's a lot of doom on the horizon. So like I don't see what could like spook markets that much to like cause us to go down like crazy even more from here. I don't know, unless there's something specific to crypto that happens, or maybe like maybe I'm just wrong and there is some doom ahead. I don't know.
I mean, we just saw a $500 million outflow from the Bitcoin ETFs last night, right?
Indeed,
That's
we
not
did.
exactly.
I heard that there
warm,
were
fuzzy feeling.
Yeah, it's quite a bit.
I don't know. For me, it's not actually doom and gloom, but it doesn't. The reason why it feels bad, right, is because if I assume most people are like me, that they bag held through the entire bear market with 100% of their assets invested in crypto because they never sold the last cycle. And so like this is supposed to be our time, and it's supposed to be up only from now until I don't know end of 2025 or something. And so the fact that it's so early in the cycle and we're seeing, I mean, I know like every cycle has these big dips, but I think psychologically it's almost like, okay, when it's bear market, you're just like, okay, it's fine, it's bear market, I can just go do other things. But when we're supposed to be in the bull market, it's not supposed to be painful. I'm supposed to be euphoric for like a year and a half at least. And so that's why it's like extra disappointing.
Yeah, because I think that like for us at least, and for all of those that has like been before the rise like of prices, like before half a year ago, like for those of us who haven't entered like the past half a year, the lows for at least like the known alts are pretty much the same lows. I don't see like my main like the tokens that I'm interested in, like I don't see them dropping lower than the lows that I've already known as their lows. And so again, I don't think it's like you guys say, I don't think it's actually very much crypto related. I think it's all this macro stuff and the way like general sentiment is, and the fact that so many things are getting cheap that people that actually have cash, which are not necessarily that many, they don't really know what to buy yet maybe, and they don't really know, like they're waiting to see maybe if it drops a bit more. But I also don't really share that doom and gloom vibe, mostly because I think that what we've seen so far, actually, especially with like Bitcoin and stuff, like it was mostly repricing. It's not even like the beginning of the actual cycle itself. The vast majority of the money that I personally, at least, anticipate that is going to hopefully enter, it has not really started engaging with the market. True, there were big outflows with the ETFs, but I think it's just like it was like the first drop, in my opinion, like phase one, if you want. But for sure, we'll see. I think that I don't know. We'll have a few. I think we're gonna, at least on these like veteran alts. I think there's gonna be a lot of like sideline. There's a good chance for some sideline activity, I think, in the near future. But honestly, I'm the worst trader, so please don't take it as trading advice or something like that. But it's something that like it's at least the way I see it.
Before we go too far down like the trading podcast, but I do want to mention like the one thing is with these alts is that there's so many of them now that there is a bit of dilution with like every new one that comes out, like more so than there's been before. But like it not that much more than it's always been. Like there's always been this sort of dilution, but like now it's like there's so much like competition for attention, and like it's just like, to follow along, to actually like for alts to catch a bid, it's not the same as it used to be. Like when alts used to catch a bid, they used to catch it like on multiples, on like sustained bids. But now you could already see like it's like there's pockets that do well, and it's usually at the expense of other areas in the alt sector. And so like it's like a lot more competitive, but that's really just because there's so many more like things to speculate on, and there's not that much attention. So it's like, there is that dynamic, right? And I don't know, I guess I would probably change my mind if, like, let's say like it just continues to go down. Like if we continue to go down, then like can't deny that, like, something there's something happening here, right? But like I guess, for me at this level, I still feel like, I still feel bull market is wrong.
I just think it's quite interesting that like the things that we like, having all of us been around for a little while, aren't pumping, and we feel kind of like maybe not euphoric, I think was the term you used. But then you kind of look at other pockets of, we talked about meme coins last week, and that's definitely part of it. But like there are other areas that are definitely moving, and people are very euphoric. And it kind of feels like, back in 2020, where DeFi summer was happening, and a lot of people that weren't into DeFi and didn't really see it or didn't give a shit, we're looking at it going, yeah, well, nothing's really happening. So
you're
I
like
think
holding on to like
rotation.
Litecoin and hoping it would pump, but Litecoin never really pumped like that. or like
Yeah,
whatever.
like a
bullshit
2017
ICO coins.
style,
Yeah, yeah.
everything pumps,
Yep.
Litecoin, all the old stuff. And it just feels
Yeah.
like, interest has moved, and maybe more retail will come in and it'll flow into other things, but you always kind of got to look ahead and say, what are people interested in?
So what you're basically saying is that all of our DeFi bags are never going to pump again. Millie
Look, I work in
synthetics,
DeFi. I'm not
your
saying that at all.
liquidity, my gear. I don't know what coins
Your
you're in,
bags might not
DAdvisoor,
pump.
but-
My bags are definitely going to go to the moon. So I
Okay.
don't know about yours.
Speaking of going to the moon, you know what's not going to the moon for now is EIGEN. It's stuck where it is, non-transferable.
Dude, EIGEN is already to the moon. What are they like? Even at whatever the pre-market trading, it's like huge. The valuation's huge, right?
Yeah, I
How
think
much is
everyone
it?
always expected it like double-digit billions, right? Like they'd
It's
already
like 15 billion or something at
Yeah.
I think it's trading at 10 last I checked. Dude, my airdrop was pretty good. I don't know what y'all are whining about. I'm pretty happy.
Beast. What a savage.
Apparently it's
You know,
like
it's interesting because the whole non-transferable thing actually, like the first time I saw like a project do that and it worked was it was what's her name, Inverse Finance, like with Noor Hardy, the founder. They did like this whole non-transferable token drop like way back in 2021, and they did it actually really well, and like it actually worked really well for them as a token generation event. And the token, when it launched, like it was like it ended up being a huge massive airdrop for everyone that like participated, because there was this one small phase also where they were seizing tokens from anyone who wasn't voting on proposals. So if you didn't miss a proposal, your tokens would have got like transferred away. And so after they voted to remove that function, then they made the token transferable, and it ended up being like a really successful token generation event for them. And then I remember Gearbox doing it, and I remember when Gearbox did it, I was like very much on board with that. I thought like it made like perfect sense, because like at the time it was like a bear market, and like airdrops were like just getting insta dumped, and like it just wasn't a good, like it wasn't a time that you'd want to make the token transferable, and like there wasn't actually a reason to either at that time. And so like I thought it made sense, and like delaying it, like I felt like they timed it pretty well. But I feel like in like heart of a bull market like where we are now, and from like such a big project like EIGEN, I don't know, it didn't feel like right, like and then the other project that did that was Safe, like Gnosis, like they're like fifth spinoff project, like for their Safe product. Their token Safe has been non-transferable for like the longest time, and it just recently became transferable. And I don't know how that went for them, but like it's a strategy that's like common. I just like feel like no one really expected it from EIGEN or EIGEN.
Can I just say, while we're on Safe, that is the most annoying like thing, because Safe is special that you have all these multi-sigs, and if anybody's ever worked on a multi-sig, you can never get people to do anything. And like having to go through and claim your tokens and allocate and get people arranged for that is so annoying.
Yeah,
Like
sure.
there's been so many, get 5 people around to sign these things so you can claim these tokens.
think about how bullish that is though for the token. The friction to sell, the friction to sell is so much higher, right? So like in theory,
the only ones that are gonna move are the ones that are like in really shitty multi-sigs with like one person on them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because like, how are they even gonna, like, everyone's stuck like how to split it. Also, like signers might have rotated like over the years, and like this has been non-transferable for all that time. So it's just like who, like the originals, like I guess whoever was the signer at the time, the airdrop might think something like, I was on a bunch of multi-sigs, like I just forgot about all of them, and I rotated off a couple, and like so it's just like, it's like the whole setup of it, like it is like as Amplice said, like kind of bullish for the token, because I'm not actually bullish for the token. I just mean like in a meme way, it's kind of bullish for the token, because they're like all stuck in like these random multi-sigs where like they don't even know how to split it, and like you said, so much friction to just like get rid of it.
Well, I mean, yeah, if ultimately prices are determined by supply and demand, and like every multi-sig is too, or every big multi-sig is too lazy to dump their token, so there's no supply, then you know what that means. It's going to pump.
But maybe they will do something other than dumping their tokens. Like maybe they'll shill their tokens.
Like governing.
Maybe they'll do governance.
Don't be absurd. Don't be absurd. There's
I mean,
there's no such thing as governance. It's a lie.
look, if anybody's gonna do it, it's a big multi-sig, right?
I mean, that's true enough.
It's the closest thing we have to an actual governance body.
But there's other aspects of EIGEN that also like upset people. I guess it was also like the fact that a lot of the points weren't transferable right away. Do you want to like actually, Amplice, you probably know a lot more about this. Do you want to maybe talk about that, like how that works, how that whole dynamic was, whether like it's justified to be upset or whatever?
I think, honestly, actually the distribution is mostly fine. I mean, the extra lengths that they went to geofence the thing is annoying. Like blocking VPNs is annoying, and probably a little bit too cautious, given that like I think just like geo blocking in the first place is probably enough. You don't need to also like go out of your way to block VPNs.
Really? They blocked VPN? They blocked VPN? Didn't know.
Yeah. They specifically, like, not only did they geo block, so like Americans can't access the site or whatever,
but
they
that's
also
regular.
made it hard to use a VPN. You had to like do some. You had to open the fucking inspect tab in Chrome to be able to claim to be able to check your token allocation, basically, which like is easy enough to do, but it's just annoying.
I thought that was a great feature personally. Going back to what you said about getting these notorious dumpers out, all the Brits out, all the Americans out, all the Russians, Chinese out, like everybody out except for the Europors and some Aussies. Like that's perfect.
But actually, like, other than those few annoying things, I think actually the distribution was fine. But because like the main thing that you saw on the timeline, like on CT, was people complaining that they like mistreated DeFi users, but actually they didn't. They just distributed proportionally based on time, right? And like you could stake an eigenlayer for, it's been like almost a year or whatever, or maybe even more than a year. I don't remember exactly when. So like proportionally but like DeFi protocols hadn't integrated. So basically, originally, I think you could only stake an eigenlayer if you like you ran your own node or through, I think it was Lido, Rocket Pool, blah 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 blah, right? So like I was one of those early stakers, I guess, which is why my allocation was okay. But because that was like originally you had to like jump through some hoops, and it wasn't like there was a 7-day withdrawal period, there weren't as many people staking at that time, right? And it's been like eigenlayer has allowed you to stake for a long time, or restake or whatever for a long time. And then like it's only relatively recently that we've seen like LRTs come online, Pendle and Gearbox and other protocols like that integrating some of these LRTs. So like they took actually what was just to distribute like a proportional airdrop up to like some specific snapshot date. But then the way that they communicated it was like, oh, DeFi users are only getting 10%. But that was just the proportional amount that DeFi users would have gotten anyways in a like kind of fairly distributed, like linearly distributed airdrop. So I think it was a comms problem more than an actual distribution problem. But like the internet, like once you have once your reputation is damaged a bit, it's hard to come back from it. So like people are still pissed, even though I actually think like if you actually delve into what the airdrop looks like they just distributed pretty fairly. They didn't really penalize like whales. They didn't penalize small people. It was like pretty much proportional. And then they just communicated it badly because they were like, DeFi people only get 10%, but that was just the amount that DeFi people farmed because of the nature of the fact that like you could actually restake an eigenlayer for a long time, but the LRTs, Pendle, and Gearbox was only relatively recent. And then obviously there's the season 2 thing, but you'll get dropped for that as well.
But I think you hit on an important thing there. Is like, I mean, we've seen time and time again that airdrops that communicate poorly, like regardless of everything else, like really kind of kill what they're doing. Because like if you think of airdrops as kind of your customer acquisition costs, like you're giving out tokens to people to be your users, hopefully in the future, or for what they've done in the past, and then you completely botch it. Like we had a great view of that with Starkware not so long ago. Like Starkware on Starknet absolutely screwed up all their communications. Not just the token distribution, like their communications were terrible.
Yep.
And nobody uses it. And like it's an ongoing joke that there's only 8 users on Starknet. You look at Paraswap, they
It's
completely
not a
killed
joke.
their product.
It's actually true. No?
Yeah. But look at Arbitrum. Like they did a pretty good job not only at like getting them out, but also communicating, and like they continually give people tokens. And people are generally pretty happy.
Yeah. I mean,
This
I
is the-
definitely agree. I mean, I 100% agree that Starknet bungled the whole thing.
Well, Starknet also like there were a bunch of GitHub repos that where people contributed to and they were supposed to be eligible, and they didn't get it. So like a lot of DeFi just wasn't eligible because like for some reason there was something wrong with the list and they just didn't pick them up. We forwarded this bug to them and like they're like, oh, we can't do anything in time.
Did you
so
get?
like that was kind of disappointing.
Did that
So, like,
guy
there was
call you
this-
an e-beggar?
Yeah, exactly. So like we were just like there's a lot of different e-beggars that were upset. But yeah, I guess like Colin's right. Like the communication is important in a lot of ways. And I guess till now, EIGEN's communication was like, oh, there's no token, and all of a sudden, like, so then what were the points for it if there were no token? Like that's why I never understood.
I also think that, like, in a way, I think they maybe just rushed it too much. Like, if you don't know that for sure it's communicated the way you want and set up the way you want, like, it's not like they had to do it a few days ago, They could have done it in a month. Like, who actually would have cared, No?
Yeah, but although I don't know, dropping at the height of the bull is generally like a good idea.
Yeah, but this is, you see, this is the height of the bull.
Well,
It
not,
was
but
the
like
day
once the
before they
bulls
launched.
start, like not that, but you can't predict when the bull is gonna start and end. Right? It's not so easy. So like I think dropping any time in the bull and like having this
Yeah.
like
I
good,
think-
like making people feel good about like, holy shit, I got dropped X amount of dollars.
Yeah, for sure. But like a month ago or so, or 2 months ago, there was this period where, okay, really, there was that kind of sentiment. But even like 2 weeks, like the past few weeks before the drop, it wasn't that kind of sentiment. You know what I mean? Like they could have waited, in my opinion, like at least a few months and have everything set up and keep the tension building and wait for like an actual bullish vibe and then drop it. And it would have been like, in my opinion, also much easier to communicate it, because everyone would have automatically see it as a lot of money and be happy. And here you also had this period of like a few days where everything was kind of sidelined. I don't know. I'm not saying that it's easy to actually execute on these guys. Yeah, of course. But like, I don't know. I think that it just, in my opinion, timing was just as important here as the communication itself. Because on the communication aspect, I don't know, like some people did understand the way they've explained it. So it's also like kind of weird to judge. I do think that it's kind of a complex system and it should have been communicated better. But in my opinion, mostly, like, I don't really understand the timing. But it's easy to judge.
But the timing was probably timed from like beforehand too, right? I bet they didn't just.
Yeah, but you
decide
can
to-
change, like, do you really
Yeah,
have
but
to?
if you say you're gonna drop at some time and then you don't drop, that's also not good. So it's like,
Oh, what Friendtech did this week?
Yeah.
For today, right?
well,
Today
they only
it's supposed to
delayed
be
a few
Friendtech.
days, I guess.
Yeah, they didn't.
I guess it brings up a good question that always goes around, like, are airdrops free money? And like, I always was in the camp, airdrops are not free money, but like, it adds a disappointment when like people definitely don't feel like it's free money, and like it's sort of treated like it is free money. And in this case with EIGEN, because it was like the funds were like people had their funds in there for like so long, for like months now. That's why I guess I feel like even more upset. But with Friendtech, it's been even longer, right? It's been like 9 months now or more. Actually, EIGEN started, I think, even before that. Friendtech.
I think
But, like,
EIGEN started ages ago because I was staking with them just like through Lido and Rocket Pool, like it's been a year almost, or more than a
Yeah,
year.
it's been a long time.
I think.
But even with Arbitrum, we've waited for like, I don't know, 2 years, and still I think they did the drop too early as well. No?
Wow,
Back then.
that's great. I think that all token we need more tokens, and they need to come fast.
I mean, I
There's
tend to agree with
one
that.
coming today, apparently, supposedly, the friend token, and I don't know if it's live yet. It's supposed to be live at some point, but like I saw,
It should have been like live like 10 minutes ago or something, no?
I don't know. Did you
I'm
see
sure
anything
they do
about
it.
it? I haven't been.
No, I
browsing.
didn't see anything, but go ahead, I will check.
There's this one tweet that I saw about how apparently like there's this contract that seemed like it was belonged to them that was deployed, and it had some interesting details in it, and like they were dissecting it on Twitter. I dropped a link below. It's from
But wait,
one of the
wait,
blur
but you
farmers,
say
one of the
like,
famous
but
blur
you,
farmers, and that pivoted to Friendtech, and that was also for farming Friendtech. And he's looked at it, and it's interestingly, it's kind of like an old school just MasterChef contract for the pool too, for the actual token and like ETH, and then the actual token is used just like in app for like random things inside the app, like on their in app AMM or whatever. So like there's a series of tweets. I'll drop them below, but it's interesting. Like we haven't seen this in a long time. Like we haven't seen a pool 2 launching in ages. Like with the token at a TGE, this used to be like a regular operation to have a pool 2 with a TGE, and now this is like the first token generation event that is in a long time that is doing it again. But also it might not be a straight up token, because apparently so here's some more tweets. Apparently there's like a whitelist on the contract, and you can not just anybody can you can't just transfer it just anywhere, so you can't just use it with just any contract. But I think you could just use it in app, like on the AMM in app in the pool 2, and you could use it to buy into like I think what the rooms are being called, the keys or whatever, the chat rooms are being called clubs, and you can buy into clubs with it. And I wonder if they change the UI, because the UI is still kind of shady, man. Like it's still not up to par, like for a project backed by but not endorsed by Paradigm. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that?
Have you guys used Friendtech? I haven't used it at all, so I can't
I
really
have.
speak to
You haven't used it at all?
Nope.
Yeah,
I
I've used
hated it.
like,
I hated the idea of selling and buying and selling my friends from day one. I'm not in the business of buying and selling people.
It's not really them, you know. They didn't really buy us, by the way. I have to tell you.
They bought shares in the ability to listen to you.
Yeah, they bought like the ability to be in like a specific thread group.
Think of it this way, yeah. Like imagine that you pay some money and you can send people messages on Telegram that they have to see.
Look, if I wanted to put value on humans, I would have become an actuary.
No, but what I was saying is, you know, the value is not really on like the human. You know what I mean?
actually, I
Like,
think the idea makes sense, right? Because okay, in the early days, there were a lot of these Paradigm like researchers that were active there, and like sometimes like getting access to these people is like a good thing. So like if the keys were cheap, they're like the keys would be like, because think about it, you could sell the key again. Like you could sell the key later, and so like you could just like pay like $100 and like pop in and ask Dan Robinson a question. Like I felt like that made sense. The only problem is that like the fact that you're buying, because it's not like an ongoing sort of fee, it's like the incentives are like weird, right? So it's like you buy it and then you're in a room, and it's like if the price goes up, it costs more for more people to enter, and it's not an ongoing cost like for the person who actually hosts the room. They're not like earning for ongoing basis for you holding their key. So it's like I don't know, the incentives don't really make perfect sense. So I don't know how far it goes, but like the idea was like it was cute, right? It was kind of like it was a cute idea, and I felt like it had like certain applications, but like it's tricky.
it was a great way to like trade reputation of people and like bet on like popularity of people at a certain point. And some people started, like promising the future points to their followers, and they started buying. It created, I think it was one of the most incredible experiments with the whole social-fi thing. That is like kind of really, I think we're just seeing like the pre-stages of what social-fi is going to be, and Frentech was one of the earliest experiments in a way. And let me just tell you, like, for example, like being a tiny investor as myself, like I actually made like, I think 0.7 ETH earned from people, trading the tokens. This is insane to me, like I literally only like subscribed to an app, but this was like one of the most rewarding experiences that a specific app has given me. Probably, like,
But that's
it's
mainly
insane.
because
You know what I mean? It's insane.
I think that could be because of like the farming points, though, right? Like it could be because of farming bots just coming in because they're the point farm. The points were
Yeah,
going up.
but what I'm saying is that it did happen. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, just by like someone inventing this kind of app and creating this new like social-fi way of interacting with people, we actually made money off of it. Like it's crazy by being passive participant. That's what I mean. Like, of course, if you can trade stuff, and some people like earned on the keys that they bought, and some lost for sure. But I'm talking about the fact that like there was actually passive income created for others. It's insane to me. It's just a fraction of like what can start being achieved with social-fi. And I think that really like the cultural shift that we're about to go through in the past few decades is insane on that aspect, because I think that there are going to be so many new opportunities on how to monetize stuff. It's insane. It's honestly insane.
I don't know. I mean,
Influencer.
I feel the same. I kind of feel the same way I feel about NFTs as I feel about Frentech. It's like we already created the world's greatest casino. Like we have coins. Do we really need to financialize our friends too? Or put it in a slightly like less extreme way. Do we really need to financialize our friends' attention or our own attention? Like, why aren't the coins
Is that
enough?
already the case?
You know what
Coins
I
are so
think?
beautiful.
I
And
think
they're
they
already
did do
good
like
enough for
They're
gambling.
not going away, implies. They're not going. The coins are staying, hopefully.
no, but he's right. They sort of didn't financialize the right aspect of it because like it is like he's right. Like who wants like it doesn't make sense to like trade someone's key that much. Like why would you like if like someone's key is valuable, you'd want to hold it. But like the person doesn't gain anything from you holding it. They gain from you trading it, right? Like you mentioned. So if it comes from trading it, it's like the incentives don't really match up. So it's like it's not financialized right in the right way. That's like the main criticism I would say. And it's like so I think that is like an issue, right? Because realistically, it could be fun, right? Like it could have like some fun features, but like for the sustainability of like the financialization model of like a club, quote unquote, or like a chat group, like it's not. If you want to do that, you could really do it, right? Like the best way you could do it is with this on Discord with like an NFT gated Discord, right? Like we've had so many of those, and they work perfectly fine. But I guess like having them all in one like chat, like one messaging app, I guess it does have some value prop. The only other problem is that the actual app is still freaking so like shady, bro. It's not up to par. Like I don't know what Racer is doing. He needs to, that's one aspect that needs to be fixed. Like the app, like the features and like the sort of the richness of the app really needs some help. Like that.
Yeah, but I actually agree. But I am actually talking about the potential there, because they can switch it. They can do all kinds of stuff now, because it was mostly about like connecting people on another platform in a way that was new to them. but now they can actually like what's stopping them from adding all kinds of other elements of SocialFi? Only their own like creativity and ability like to bring on devs that can create stuff. I think they have huge potential, and also like even if like not necessarily for Frentech itself, I'm just very excited about the whole concept of SocialFi and the kind of uses that we're going to see. I don't know, personally for me, like stuff like copy trading and copy investing, I think it's going to change society. I just think that no one knows about it yet.
Well, why would copy trading change society?
Because most people, like most normal people, they just go to like a bank, and I can get maybe your point there that they're doing like a kind of copy trading by telling the banks what to do, but on-chain can change that in a way that people are going to get a lot more transparency on where they should and are able to put their money. And once this process is complete, which I think will probably take decades, but it's huge. Like,
I mean, the problem with copy trading though is like even if the whoever you're copy trading has alpha, as more people copy trade them, that alpha gets diluted, right? Because markets only have a certain amount of liquidity. I mean, this is like the same thing as people were saying about hedge funds. It's like back in the 90s or whatever, whenever hedge funds were like popping off, people were like, oh, like there's a new way for like people to invest, and like you can just back the best, like you can back the best trade, like the best investors, and then you can just make like outsized returns. But the truth is, like, if somebody's running a hedge fund, as they get more and more AUM, there's less and less things that they can do, right? Because they're more and more size, they have to deploy more capital, there's less opportunities that are available to them based on the amount of capital that they have. For example, if you're a trader, right, and you ape into shitcoins, like if everybody's copy trading you, then half, like the latter half of the people who are copy trading you aren't going to make money because their entry is going to be way worse than you, right? Because there's no liquidity. So like copy trading works only up until the point where like if everybody's doing it, then theoretically the copy trading return should be the same as the S&P 500, because like if you think about Vanguard like index funds, they're essentially copy trading kind of the entire index. Yeah, like it doesn't work at scale is my point. Like that, then you run into a new issue of like, okay, instead of picking coins, like which coins do you buy, then you got to think about, okay, which trader am I going to copy, which is like in some ways a similar investment decision to which coins to buy, right? Like you're trying to figure out who's the best trader. If you can figure out who's the best trader, why can't you just figure out like which are the best coins? This is like which are the best projects run by the best people. It's like the similar decision. So yeah, basically like copy trading is not going to save anybody. Sorry. Like if you're a shit trader, like fucking get good or stay poor, honestly.
You know
like
what?
It literally doesn't work. At scale, it doesn't work.
You're definitely right. It doesn't scale at all. It doesn't scale in any way. But I think what DAdvisoor is telling us is that it might make sense in like a social context where like in like a small scale, like social context, like just like social trading and random shit. I feel like that it might make sense. Is that what you're
Yeah, I mean,
to say?
as a form of entertainment, 100%, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that I agree. But as a kind of financial instrument, it's kind of pointless, ultimately.
I don't think so, actually. I think that it's just not as noticeable right now. But I actually think that SocialFi, in a way, is already happening in a like non-DApp way by just the fact that people like us are interacting with each other and like affecting it. Like all of a sudden, me as like just a human being, I used to be able like to be exposed to specific circles in which I could have done financial activities. But right now, all of a sudden, a few years later, I have internet friends and internet money, and now I can use that as well. But I'm not just using my own like mind and reading docs. I'm also like using the advice that does. So I'm kind of already doing it for sure. But I think that
and you can now trade your internet friends. You can now trade them too.
Yeah, sometimes. Not really them, hopefully. I don't want to trade you guys. Like, but your keys, I don't mind if I get some keys. But most
there's
of
another app that just launched yesterday too, Fantasy Top.
I heard about that. What's that? Can you share a bit about that, maybe?
You know what? I'm not so deep in the weeds, but it's basically like a trading card game with like CT personalities and like they're
It's
called
so
heroes.
funny, man.
Yeah,
How
so
do you get on? Like how do you become like a character then?
I
How
think
do you get
you just gotta
started?
sign up and you just sign up with you just link your Twitter and you just sign up and you can
No way.
deposit some meat and
Okay, I
you
have
get
to
to
do it.
mint a pack. And like
It's
you
on
might get lucky
it's on
here.
Blast, right? I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Millie,
it's
what
on Blast. Yeah. And it's sort of similar to Tradify. It's like a Socialfy type situation, but like the only difference here is like there's no private chat rooms as of yet. It's like you're just trading like trading cards of like representing like different like CT characters. It's
I
like
like
it's like a social experiment, right? Like all these are like social experiments.
Yeah,
So
that's
they're definitely work on small scale. Like they're fun on small scale, but like it's like trying different things to see what could work at scale is definitely like the hard part, right?
I think that's what the space is really good at, is just like very quickly trying little things, and like sometimes it'll work, most of the time it won't. And I think kind of coming back, like what you were saying about copy trading, like yeah, a lot of what we're doing is new, but at the same time, like boomers do this as well. Like the my mom was doing this like investment club with her boomer friends, and they get together every week and they talk about like what stocks they should buy, and like everybody puts in some money when they join, and they just buy stocks with that together. And that's their social thing. They get together and drink wine and chat about that. It's like, well, it's kind of their way of doing the same thing. I don't know. I think it works.
Whatever happened
Bullish
to book
social
clubs?
fly.
I can't
What did
believe
you
your
say,
mom
Mike?
gets together with her friends, drinks wine, and punts stuff.
And buy stonks.
That's fucking
Buy
wild.
stonks.
That's so wild.
What's up with the moms in crypto today? You already told us like something too extreme, Colin.
Oh, yeah, just about, the meme coin of the day in Solana.
Yeah, good God.
We won't get into that.
Tell us more about the meme coin on Solana that you're a big fan of.
I was
actually have to
amused.
show it. Like, where's that tweet again? I want to share it. Do you have it?
Where did I put it? I sent it in the chat.
Meme coins have entered a bear market. I think meme coins are entering a bear market for now.
I told you last week that I would not say that it's over. I refuse to say that it's over in case I'm wrong. It just feels like there's so many times you're like, is this thing jumping the shark?
Of course, that's how when you predict too much is how you end up on the wrong side of history, like I have so many times. But there's another interesting development from yesterday, which was, or was that today? The Aave V4 launch. Because I actually don't have a whole lot of insight on that. Does anyone else?
I read a thread or two.
You know?
So there's lots of new cool stuff, basically, is what it comes down to. I don't know how much detail we want to go into.
Go into whatever you know. Let us have it.
So this is a summary. I'll send you the link. Maybe you can put it up on the screen.
Sure.
My screen, as always, is not suitable for sharing. For various reasons.
Yeah. Obvious reason.
He keeps all his private keys just right there on like a post-it note.
I literally do have private keys on my desktop in like Notepad TXT files.
So do I.
So
They all have
it's kind of a
testnet IDs.
necessity when you do want to do for specific use cases. It's yeah.
Okay, so we have a quick.
Can I say, just because this is my bag, like with Liquidity, like I think them experiment.
Go ahead, Colin.
I think
Did he
Colin
cut off?
dropped there.
Yeah, you cut off. Is he back? Maybe he's back.
Colin,
Are
if
you
you
live,
hear
Colin?
something, you can also try to reconnect Colin. I see that they don't see your. Let's see if he drops back.
Yeah, so it seems like they kind of took the best of what they saw from some other lending protocols while kind of maintaining the overall philosophy of Aave. Yeah, it looks interesting, I think.
I saw that like a Mitch tweet about it at first, and then clarifying. Did you see it? With like them like copying Lamaland or something?
Yeah. So specifically, so I think that there was an accusation that they basically copied the mechanism for soft liquidations that CurveUSD uses for Go, their stablecoin. But I don't know how. I mean, like, I guess we'll at some point we'll see the code and see if they just forked it. But I doubt that Aave would do that. So I think it's not a big deal, basically.
Yeah, for sure. And also, I saw that they put out like a clarification like an hour later or something.
Who, Aave or Curve?
Curve about the Aave tweet, like
Yeah.
it's on the Rex.
Sorry, I was saying before my internet was rudely cut off here because apparently I've got internet issues. The tweet you have up there, like interest rates, I think it's really, really cool that Aave is experimenting with like different interest rates. I think in the DeFi space, improving on that should be kind of like one of our main priorities. Like people like to talk about liquidation and liquidity, but fixing interest rates and making better interest rates is kind of like what TradFi does day in and day out. And there hasn't been enough innovation there. So I'm super bullish on that. I'm also kind of talking my book, but
Actually, this links into I don't know if you guys were on top of this discussion in Lobsters, but there's like this very long, I think maybe ongoing actually, but very long discussion about like to what extent should lending type protocols be immutable?
they should 100% be immutable.
Oh yeah,
Anybody that's not immutable has done it wrong.
and is a scammer, presumably.
No. Look, we need all types. I have a strong feeling that we should have immutable stuff because obviously that's my bag, but also because we need more things where people can build more stuff on top of it, which itself can be immutable or less immutable. But right now, kind of the only options out there for the most part are non-immutable. From a developer point of view, it makes it more difficult, or you need to be at least as immutable, or sorry, at least as governable. So would love to see more options. Would love to see more options out there. But obviously, I'm a big fan of immutability, but it is hard.
Okay, Millie, I know that you need to drop, sir. So thanks for coming. Really enjoyed talking to you as usual. And now back just with the ghouls. Let's see if Pope will join soon. Go ahead, sir. I didn't mean to like cut you. Were you in the middle of something?
No. I finished my sentence there. Yeah, I was just
Why don't you have a ghoul, DAdvisoor? Or why aren't you a ghoul? What is this?
To be honest, I kind of find all the skeleton stuff scary. Like I never have any like skeleton stuff or.
These are the least scary skeletons ever.
True, it's kind of cute, but like I don't have anything with skeletons like ever since I was a child. Like I've never like understood it, like because you know with some people ever since they're young, like they really like skulls, and it's also like a thing in fashion. You know, there are like some brands that there are like skulls everywhere. And I'm like, I don't know, but
what do you think about pirates?
I do, pirates are not as much as also like I wouldn't really like. I don't see myself as a pirate.
Wait, peg-legged pirates or like Somalian pirates? Because I have different feelings about the two.
How about a peg-leg Somalian pirate?
Show me one and I'll tell you what I think about that.
But by the way, when were ghouls like minted? Like how long?
Oh, we're gonna get into the ghoul lore. Yes.
When were ghouls minted? I don't know. We were. I'm the wrong person to talk about this.
A pretty
the
OG
first version or the second
collection.
version?
Very OG. The most OG in some senses.
Yeah. Which ones, by the way?
I mean, obviously, you had like punks and basically you had punks, but basically, ghouls is an offshoot of this DeFi summer project called Base Money, which didn't rug us, but like we all lost money in, and then the community actually stuck together and just hung out for like 2 years, and then somebody launched the PFP, and that's ghouls. Basically, that's a long story short, essentially.
That's a good story, actually. Maybe we can have the community on Leviathan sometime to go a bit deep into it, because as time goes by, I do see that at first I didn't even know anything about the project. I just saw you have a PFP, but only after I saw maybe Colin and some others, I realized that it was.
We are growing in power every day, but the price will never.
I realized that we just missed. So okay, I looked this up. The current ghouls contract, because of course we rugged ourselves. Because the deployer screwed up something and had to redeploy. But coming on 2 years now, just over 2 years.
No way. It wasn't really a rug. The deployer made a mistake?
Yeah, so there was a first version because basically if you had a bunch of different things that were ghouls and based related, you had a free claim. And so there was one version that was deployed in early 2022, and then a week later, so on the 20th of April 2022, of course, 420, so just over 2 years now, the current version that we all have was deployed. But yeah, the based goes back to DeFi Summer.
Well, ghouls are kind of cool. I will say that. And by the way, does every ghoul can become what you now have, with that VRF or however it's called?
The VRM. My
VRM, yeah. So
VTubing avatar. No, so in theory, so there's a 3D version of every ghoul. Okay. The guy who made them, or not guy, the person who made them, basically did this when we custom, but in theory could make all of them VRMs if they were so inclined. So I mean, we'll see what happens. It's possible, but I think it would take a bunch of time for them to do that. So we'll see. But I paid for this just because I wanted it, because I think it's fun. Look, I can move my hands.
Yeah, I saw you lifting.
I'm still calibrating the thingy, but that's fucking cool. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah. By the way, you familiar with Anata NFT?
Yeah, they're copying me. They're copying my technology.
Yeah, something like that.
When was the last time you see an Anata actually use the tech though? Yes, they use the same stuff that I use, but I mean, yeah.
I actually have an Anata myself, but also I'm very non-technical. I haven't even.
How's that bag doing for you?
No, as a bag, it's not necessarily doing that great. I didn't really check, but to be honest, Anata was a big decision for me. Not only because it was for me personally a very big purchase back then, but also because it was me deciding I'm actually going for the DeFi AdvisoR as a brand. It was my first PFP, because at first I just had the Curve logo for a few months. And then, I knew, okay, I can't keep doing it forever. I have to do something else. And at some point, when I saw my specific Anata, I was okay. I'm going for this one, because it was actually very different, in my opinion, than a lot of the others. And it really I immediately told myself, you know what? If I have that, I automatically will have a brand, instead of trying to brand it, and it's going to be artificial and whatever. And okay, but it was okay, I'm doing it. But a while later, I'm actually much more interested in the Curve ecosystem and stuff like that. So when I got a connection with the llamas, then they also I tried assisting them and sharing some stuff that they did very early on, and then they granted me with one llama as a gift, and also an allow list spot. So I'm proud to have 2 llamas, and ever since then I'm with even with the Bowie llama, because the Bowie llama is one of the rarest ones actually, and it's also very unique. You can see it's a llama, but it's also very different than the other llamas. So
I like it.
Yeah.
NFTs are scams.
Yeah, they are, but they're kind of fun, though.
100% of NFTs are scams. Yeah, what's the deal with the llamas? Like, how connected are they? Like by the curve team? I don't even know the background.
I don't know if I'm not sure as well, but like I don't think that they're exactly by the curve team. But the more I know people in the industry, they're all like people that are in some sense or another curve related
Sure.
or involved. And really, I just find them to be like a group of a lot of very capable a lot of very capable people that are also very capable of like coordinating and working together on stuff, and are often aligned on the same like values of like I don't know, top performance, and like using only what's required and being as efficient as possible, and like challenging one another intellectually. I don't know. I'm really drawn to that. I'm mostly like, just following and trying to understand something, because really I'm not like as a capable of that. But I'm learning, and honestly, it's another fun and opening a lot of opportunities. I definitely think people should check the Llamas community as well, mostly because of the project that they're working on with like the job market and stuff like that, that people will gonna be able to like create their own chain reputation of tasks that they were doing for like different projects. I actually think that it's going to be a lot. It's going to be really interesting. And by the way, to make it like related to our talk before, I actually see this kind of stuff as social fi in a way as well, because these are like social clubs, and you get to know people and you get new opportunities. I think that people like tend to many
This
people.
is what
just
I'm saying, though. You can actually get to know people without financial incentives. Like what you're talking about is not social fi. It's just social.
Yeah, and I agree, but also like what brings us all together is the fact that we're drawn like to something that is related to finance. If it wasn't for DeFi, I probably wouldn't have known you two.
Sure, but that doesn't mean you need to. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Colin said he has to go, so I figured we should just talk about one last thing, which is
Let's do it.
4 months for CZ. Too much, too little. How did he know? Is spooky?
Yeah, that's the actual question. I have no idea. Like, I don't
Colin,
really
what's your
understand.
take before you go?
Yeah,
It's too much. It should be 0. And this isn't based on CZ, but I personally believe that non-violent crimes should not lead to jail time. So that's a very loser way to say it's too much. But it is quite hilarious that it was 4.
How did
Yeah.
honestly like define and then it's pretty spooky.
And you're saying it as a
What's even funnier though, like if you put it together, is SBF. Remember his famous like what thread? He ended it on 25, and he got 25 years in jail.
no way.
Yeah, check it out.
Oh my god!
Okay,
this is like this is Kabbalah stuff,
This is
Kabbalah
why
Judaism.
I'm pro-globalist, because if you're anti-globalist, they're definitely gonna get you.
Oh yeah.
Everything
Amplice is so good. He actually was able to put that globalist stuff into the episode. Like that is like a masterpiece, man.
I mean, you think these things are random? No, there's a pattern out there. Who controls the pattern?
Interesting thought.
Yeah.
Okay,
I have to find this because it was just so good, and then I'm gonna leave you.
Okay. No, go ahead. We'll wrap it up with you as well. We'll use this opportunity while you're searching for it to thank everyone for tuning in. Really enjoyed the panel today. Over 600 viewers live. What an honor. Thanks, Amplice. Thanks, Colin. Thanks for Millie as well. Really enjoying these with you guys. Really hope we keep doing them. And honestly, we should, like, in my opinion, try to do these as long as possible. But it also depends on both us and the week and the events going on. Hope to have another stream today. Myself, actually, another interview. Will be communicating through X. Hopefully, in a good enough manner. And of course, guys, like make sure to try and earn some squid points by participating and contributing to Leviathan News. You can join wherever we are, like the Telegram, X, follow us on YouTube as well. Come on our channels, submit headlines, tell us who we should have on as guests, participate, give us any kind of feedback, whatever. Colin, you have it?
I couldn't find it. That's fine.
Never mind.
At least
Thanks,
that
guys.
will end on my failure to find a good tweet.
You can do it, guys. You can do it. You can Google stuff. You know you can. And okay, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in, fellow ghouls, and see you next week, hopefully. Bye, folks.
Thanks.
See you. Thank you.
Leverage and
Bye.
Gearbox.
Bye.
Leverage.